for Riel. It's great to have you here for today's News Moto. Thank you for watching our videos. 100% of the money we earn from YouTube goes to charities here in Cambodia, and you're helping us earn this money just by watching. In the description of our videos, you can see how much we've earned from YouTube and where the money is going. We've received payments for January and February, and we will be donating those funds soon. There are links to the charities that we support in case you'd like to support them for yourself. They're all reputable, long-standing organisations doing great work here in the Kingdom. It's time to get started with this week's news. Today is Wednesday, the 23rd of February 2022. As usual, we will begin with land borders and visas on arrival, just to clear the desk for actual news. Because there's no changes on either front, unfortunately. There are reports of people converting tourist visas to E-type visas with long-term extensions in-country. If you are already in Cambodia and want to stay, then this is an option that you can explore. I believe it is now much cheaper than it was when it first became available. If you're outside Cambodia and considering this option so that you can stay long-term, I definitely wouldn't advise it. Of course, you're free to do as you wish, and it may work out just fine for you. I like a little more certainty when it comes to the big things in life. Be aware that the option to convert these visas in-country may be removed at any moment with no notice. Another question that's been asked is what happens if you visit Cambodia on a tourist visa or any kind of visa and then test positive when you're about to leave? How long do you have to wait before you can try again to depart? The Ministry of Health advises that you must wait a minimum of 7 days, and then you would have to do another pre-flight test and hope that it was negative. I guess you would want to know what the airline's policy and track record is like for COVID cancellation and rebooking. There have been rumours in some of the expat forums that lockdowns might be reintroduced to deal with the Omicron wave. Prime Minister Hun Sen yesterday dispelled fears circulating widely that there could be another lockdown due to the high number of rising COVID-19 infections due to the Omicron variant. He also addressed people's outrage over the cost of the home treatment drug molnupiravir and called for sellers from the private sector to stop raising prices indiscriminately. The Prime Minister said that he had heard the rumour that has been spread by some people in the community recently that the government will put Phnom Penh in lockdown like it did in April last year. He dismissed the rumour confidently by confirming that he would never sign an order to lock down a city or even a market or other area where infection had been found. In April last year, I decided to lock down the city because it was an emergency situation and our vaccination rate was still low back then, he said. Now it is different, so people do not need to rush to stock up on food and other supplies. In Cambodia, home treatment is encouraged where possible because it decreases the burden on hospitals, but it is pushing the price of molnupiravir through the roof. Pharmacies have now been directed not to sell it for more than $65 per bottle. February 20 is turning out to be an ominous date for Cambodia, with the first 2 cases of deaths from Omicron recorded on this day, exactly a year after the start of the devastating community event. A statement from the Ministry of Health confirmed that 2 patients died from Omicron. This tragic day also saw another unwanted record being broken, with Cambodia reporting the highest ever Omicron daily total of 736 infections, of which 730 were community cases and just 6 were imported. There are now 3,003 active COVID-19 cases, that's the ones diagnosed by PCR test only, in the Kingdom, and the number of active cases is growing rapidly. The number of daily infections has resurged from a single digit, as it was back in December 2021, to 2 digits and now triple digits. If people do not comply with health measures, it is likely that the daily case numbers will hit 4 digits in the near future. Secretary of State for Health Or Van Dien renewed the call for residents to practice the 3 do's and 3 don'ts. The 3 do's include wearing a face mask, washing your hands regularly, and maintaining a physical distance of at least 1.5 metres. The 3 don'ts are avoiding confined and enclosed spaces, avoiding crowded places, and avoiding touching other people. But nobody is above COVID. Prime Minister Hun Sen has revealed that one of his daughters and 5 grandchildren are now infected with COVID-19. The Prime Minister had previously stated that another of his grandchildren had contracted the Omicron virus. Alright, that's enough about COVID. The Cambodian government is attempting to convince 85% of mothers to exclusively breastfeed their babies by 2030. Mothers are increasingly turning to milk formula over breastfeeding for newborns. The Council for Agricultural and Rural Development will be working with all relevant authorities and stakeholders to achieve the global target of exclusive breastfeeding by 2030, as was decided at the Tokyo Nutrition for Growth Summit 2021 that was held in December. The Council's Secretary-General said yesterday that one of the reasons why mothers opt for formula milk for their infants is due to the infant formula industry using various marketing and advertising strategies to promote the infant formulas. He said the way companies advertise and promote formula milk misleads the public and makes mothers believe that their breast milk is insufficient for the child's growth and development. Another factor in the increased reliance on formula milk is the fact that mothers are returning to work very soon after the birth and cannot sustain a breastfeeding regimen. Moving on to traffic news. The National Police gave a warning this week to all officers that they must respect people, especially when they are travelling, after allegations that traffic police are demanding money from drivers under the pretext of a fine because they don't give a receipt. Traffic Police Officer Captain Sa Lee, stationed on Monivong Boulevard, said, "I've been a policeman for about 32 years. I have done my best to respect all the travellers in the city. I never hurt anyone, even though I know that people are doing wrong. I always show my respect." 20 years ago, we could do anything, like forcing people to pay us money. Some of our policemen would beat people up on the street, but we have to follow order now and cannot just extort money from people like we did before, he said. Another traffic officer said, "Every time we have to stop people when they have committed a mistake, like not stopping at a traffic light, if they don't have enough money, we let them go. Normally, I charge $15 from people riding a motorcycle without a helmet, but if they don't have the money, I make them promise not to do it again and let them go," he said. "If the driver of a car violates a traffic law, we charge $30, and if they have no money, we give them a ticket and they must go to the police station within 15 days to pay the fine." In Ratnakiri province, a man torched his motorcycle in anger, startling people around after he was fined for a traffic offence in the province yesterday. According to witnesses, the man was stopped by traffic police for not wearing a helmet and riding a motorcycle with no number plate. After he was fined, the suspect poured gasoline on the vehicle and set it ablaze. A traffic police officer said that after setting his motorcycle on fire, the man was arrested and sent to the provincial police headquarters for interrogation and tests for alcohol and drug use. He is still being questioned by police before further action is taken against him. Down to Sihanoukville now, that dark city of sin. There have been reports of a Chinese man who was kidnapped and used as a blood slave by a gang after he refused to participate in online fraud activities in the Cambodian city of Sihanoukville. The victim claimed that in June of 2021, he was taken to Cambodia against his will. He said he was drugged and transported from Vietnam to Cambodia, where he was resold many times due to his refusal to join in an online fraud operation. He then had 1.5 litres of blood taken from him every month and a half, amounting to 7 individual times since August last year. The victim said he had no idea why his blood was taken. His blood was siphoned so many times that he became so weak that his captors could no longer use him for the purpose. Let's stay in Sihanoukville a little longer. Police arrested a Vietnamese national after he stole a gold Audi Q7 car from a village in Pria Sihanouk and took off with it. The Vietnamese national crashed through a police barricade but continued driving. He finally came to a stop after he crashed into another barricade and was arrested by police. The suspect is in police custody and is currently being questioned by the authorities. As usual, we'll end today's news moto on a positive note. Kandal Provincial Forestry Administration officers, in cooperation with Provincial Economic Police officers, on Wednesday night arrested 2 men for allegedly transporting turtles and turtle eggs from Vietnam to Cambodia without authorization. More than 1,000 adult and 2,000 young turtles, as well as 2,210 turtle eggs were seized. Let's hope the turtles and their eggs are doing well. That brings us to the end of this week's news. You're now up to date with all of the most important events in the kingdom. Thank you for watching. Links to the stories mentioned will be in the pinned comment, and the description of this video contains links to other channels making content about Cambodia, so be sure to check them out. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you in our next video.